Hypothalamus Artificial Intelligence, HI. It presents companies in the process of digital transformation, its offer of professional services and the supply of algorithms of highly complex multi-problem mathematical models. These services are called optimizing global sourcing. To provide these services, HI is supported by its business partners, GAMS, IBM and TD SYNNEX, all of which are producers of artificial intelligence technologies. HI is a company at the forefront of high-performance artificial intelligence. Optimizing global sourcing. Global sourcing is a business strategy that involves sourcing goods, products, or services from suppliers located in different countries around the world to optimize costs, improve quality, and access specialized technologies and skills that may not be available domestically. This practice seeks to take advantage of the competitive advantages of international markets, such as lower production costs, labor and raw materials in emerging countries, as well as a greater supply of products and services. HI calls this process Global Source Optimization, GSO. The main result of HI GSO is the purchase orders to be issued by the organization, for which detailed modeling of all negotiation and purchasing processes is carried out, mainly of imported raw materials. It considers in detail the Incoterms for trade between large regions and the special tariff regimes for the promotion of exports from imported raw materials. HI GSO considers goods shipping conditions, Incoterms delivery time, delivery route, delivery times, cargo consolidation, multiple supplier offerings, regulation of each country. Optimize product purchasing processes based on the production needs determined by tactical planning models, or inventory policy models, analyzing the multiple purchasing options available to them in an extended way. It considers international trade terms, Incoterms delivery time, travel time, average permit times, multiple times of offers by suppliers, foreign exchange regulation. The goal is to minimize the costs related to purchasing products. The process of purchasing raw materials is based on offers from multiple suppliers. Each supplier can make multiple bids to supply multiple raw materials under different business conditions. The clearance process can be done using one of multiple trade terms, Incoterms. Incoterms stands for International Commercial Terms, which are rules about the terms of delivery of goods, are used to divide responsibilities between the seller and the buyer. Incoterms are rules that have become an essential part of the language of international trade and are generally incorporated into sales contracts around the world and provide rules and guidelines to importers, exporters, lawyers, carriers, insurers and students of international trade. In 2010 there were 11 rules established in the Incoterms. Incoterms are rules that have become an essential part of the language of international trade, and are usually incorporated into sales contracts around the world, and provide rules and guidelines to importers, exporters, lawyers, carriers, insurers, and international trade professionals. The summary of the Incoterms is: EXW, X works, the seller's liability ends when he has disposed of the goods in his establishment, without preparing them for export. FCA, free carrier, the seller complies at the time he delivers the goods to the carrier, hired by the buyer at the agreed point. CPT, carriage paid to, this rule refers to the payment that the seller must make for the transport of the goods, including expenses and import permits. CIP, carriage and insurance paid to, the seller must take care of the transport payments and must also pay insurance against loss or damage to the goods. DAP, delivered at place, determine that the goods will be delivered somewhere in the destination country. DAT, delivered at terminal, it is related to the transport of goods and refers to the delivery of the goods at the dock of the port of destination, after unloading. DDP, delivered duty paid, the seller delivers the goods, once the export and import formalities have been completed, but without unloading the means of transport at the importer's agreed destination. FAS, free alongside ship, the seller must deliver the goods to a specific vessel at the port of shipment. FOB, free on board, the seller delivers the goods at the port of shipment and bears the costs of export customs formalities and export licenses. CFR, cost and freight, or C&F, the seller must be responsible for getting the goods to the destination point agreed upon with the buyer. SIF, cost, insurance and fleet. The seller delivers the goods on board the vessel and must contract and pay the costs, all customs formalities and freight to the port of destination. Traditionally, the purchasing strategy of companies that do not use mathematical models to support their purchasing processes is based on the following principles. Evaluating bids requires a simple, easy to implement computational tool that allows you to quickly evaluate a few bids that are very easy to compare. To ensure a multiplicity of bids, a minimum number of bids are requested, usually 3. To facilitate the evaluation, it is a matter of all bidders offering the same product, that is, same delivery site, same import conditions, same technical specifications, etc. By forcing suppliers to offer the same product, they are being forced to assume high costs for those characteristics of the product for which they do not have competitive advantages. This will translate into higher costs for the buyer. Its biggest advantage is that this simple process is easy to implement in an Excel sheet. The P&G strategy. According to Smock Doug of Procter & Gamble, P&G. To maximize the costs avoided in the buying process, P&G realized it needed a tool that would allow it to embrace complexity, rather than simplify it. P&G wanted to take advantage of the scale of its sourcing volume, while maintaining its relationships and offering options to its suppliers. Companies that have high productivity mathematical tools have a radically different attitude. They can face complex bid evaluation processes, thanks to their mathematical models. Given its greater capacity for analysis, its interest is to have as many offers as possible, which allow bidders to offer their best conditions. This is achieved by allowing the seller to offer the product that best suits him. This will translate into lower costs for the buyer. To ensure that the buyer's needs are met, the mathematical model must ensure that the products and services that the company holistically requires are purchased. The quality of the purchasing process is based on the quality of the mathematical model. Its advantage is that this mathematically complex process, due to the combination of offers that must be evaluated, can be implemented in an effective optimization algorithm by an expert in the field. There are many reported advantages to using procurement process optimization. These include finding low-cost solutions to complex purchasing problems, test various business rules, reduce the time needed to analyze bids, allow suppliers to be expressive when bidding on their requirements, allow continuous and multiple bids by suppliers, provide a robust and convenient method to analyze different bidding scenarios, and have a verifiable and defensible solution to present to the sourcing team and management. The mathematical model of global sourcing optimization has the following characteristics. Inputs, the multiple offers from suppliers, and results. Quantity to buy in the agreed Incoterms, optimal dates to make purchases, inventory profile in buyers' warehouses, and profile of inventories in transit and in order. Purchase planning, fundamental mathematical models. The models included are XU, Global Procurement Optimization, DAM, Demand Projection, and INV, Inventory Policy Optimization. To plan the purchase of products, and/or services, of all types of companies, HI offers this set of models in an integrated way. For mathematical modeling, Incoterms are divided into 4 groups, which describe how liability and risks are transferred from the seller to the buyer. The image presents the variables used to describe the flow of products from the supplier's factories to the buyer's warehouses. The diagram presents the connectivity of the XU model. In the case of a production company, the process is: first, the demand for goods and services must be established, including the quantities involved in the inventory policy. Second, optimal production is defined by the Sales and Operations Planning Model, S&OP. Third, the demand for raw materials, resulting from the S&OP model, is the input into the Global Purchasing Model. The diagram presents the integration of the production model with the Global Purchase Model of raw materials and inputs. Constraints. Purchase activation according to offer balance in ports, national and foreign, balance and the customer's warehouse purchases restricted to lots/packages purchases restricted to minimum quantities consolidation of deliveries product expiration dates warehouse inventory. Costs to be considered. Costs at origin. Inland freight international freight BOF international security port surcharge equipment imbalance surcharge. Destination costs, drop-off, terminal handling cost, collect fee, container handling, document management, adjustment to the dollar, emission BL preparation of a loan contract. The case study, Sourcing Optimization at Procter & Gamble presents an example of the new paradigm to make purchases in P&G. This case is supported in the paper. Changing the Game in Strategic Sourcing at Procter & Gamble, Expressive Competition Enabled by Optimization. This article is from the publication made to announce that Procter & Gamble had won the Franz Edelman Prize in 2005. Sourcing Optimization. The detailed expressions of supply and demand are brought together via an advanced optimization engine to decide the optimal allocation of business to the suppliers. By March 2005, over a period of 2.5 years, P&G had sourced over $3 billion through expressive commerce and seen $294.8 million, 9.6%, in recommended savings. By March 2005, over a 2.5-year period, P&G had saved $294.8 million. By applying expressive competition to 29 complex events in sourcing more than $3 billion in transportation, raw materials, services and packaging. In addition, Combined Net has begun other high-profile optimization projects to help P&G reduce costs and increase profits. Starting in March 2005, P&G planned to increase the 10% avoided cost to 20 to 30% over the next 1 or 2 years. If the same savings to spending ratio is maintained, mathematical models will save for P&G $1 billion more in 4 years. The image presents the algebraic formulation of P&G's sourcing optimization model. Without fear of being wrong, it can be said that Procter & Gamble's mathematical optimization models are their golden goose. We can say that since the beginning of this century, at P&G the purchasing process has said goodbye Excel. More information can be obtained in the video. Case: Strategic Sourcing at Procter & Gamble. For more information you can write to the email that appears on the screen. Like Herbert Simon, Hypothalamus Artificial Intelligence believes that computer-based mathematical modeling is the greatest invention of all time. Thank you for your attention.